It is Hex, and I'm in the downtown area of Modesto, next to one of our sponsors, Graffiti Dogs. Uh, they help us out on occasion with shows, with concerts. Give them our best love. Buy their cop dog, buy their hot rod dog. Their What was the other thing? The Wolf Man. It was a Wolf Man dog with, I don't know. It was a really big name, but it's really good, and I recommend it. Again, I am Hex. I'm also known as Christopher. What's up? Get that up there. Hey yo, check us out on Facebook, check out on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, wherever we are. So it is our very first episode of Hex Hard Podcast, and I've got my special guest that I've been dying to get on here since the first time we tried doing this and failing. I've got Lunchbox, aka Dave Ussery of the Losers, and we are bringing him out now. 1, 2, 3. What's up, boss? Can you see me loud and clear?
Good evening. I can hear you just fine, brother. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, I'm really excited to have you on my show because there's a lot of stuff I want to ask you about. You have a lot of history inside of Modesto, inside of Central Valley. You're actually a part of the Nothing But Losers crew, which is a really badass local metal band. Tell me about that.
Well, first of all, man, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Secondly, by you saying I have a lot of history, I guess what you really mean is I'm kind of old.
No way am I insulting you, bro.
Nothing But Losers was formed back in it's honestly, it's a mythical thing. JoJo will tell you 02, 03. They were around as a garage band long before I even knew who they were. I met JoJo, Ricky, and their original drummer, Eddie, back in 2005. Or no, 2004. And just as I was starting to get my first drum project, Suicide Hands, off the ground. And, I've just watched these guys go from being that band that everybody walked out on, nobody really wanted to see, to being that story of grit and perseverance and, just improving over time, and member changes, lineup changes, appearance changes, educating themselves musically, working on their skills. And all that kind of culminated in 2015 when Aaron, the drummer, said he was going to go on tour with his other band. I had just left the band I was currently in and still had a little bit of an itch. So I volunteered to substitute in while Aaron was on tour. And from there, they just decided that they liked the role I came up with for a hype man and an additional percussionist, to kind of nothing more than to fill the time when Aaron and I were trading sets. A lot of our practice involved me getting used to playing the set. So Aaron would play the first half, I'd play the second half. Some nights we'd do it the opposite. And one day I just happened to go grab a spare percussion kit and decided to mess around with it. And JoJo, the singer, told me, "Hey man, you guys are onto something, need some work, but we got an idea here." That year we celebrated our second Modesto Area Music Award win, and they told me I was being kept. I didn't have a choice in the matter. I was sticking around.
You can't leave.
Pretty much. Pretty much,
awesome,
man.
That's awesome. So actually, following up with that, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are actually Modesto Area Music Award winners. Is that true? Also,
3 times.
3 times. Wow, we got ourselves some badasses here. That is actually honestly like really cool. You're how close are you in the music scene, if you don't mind me asking?
What do you mean by that?
Well, in the scene, you are, well, a way we like to think about the scene is like a community, like where we know everyone as a family or as a connection. Pretty much how a lot of juggalos say it the same way, is that a lot of it is family oriented. And the question I have is not really if you can name any, but what bands are you connected to in the music scene?
fuck, man, you might as well ask how many nerve endings I've got. I like to think I'm connected to everybody, man. If anybody knows me, they know I've always had a big sense of community, family, friendship. I'm a very positive person. I'm very big on teamwork and working together. I do believe in competition in an honest and friendly way. Not in a, oh well, these guys are my rival band. Like, no, it's more about, if my friends are going, if, for example, I always use this example because they're elite. When Stig Murder would take the stage before us and knock their set out of the park, I would take it as my obligation to take that crowd and whip them into a further frenzy. Stig Murder already got them excited. Now it's my job to take it up a notch. You too many times you see bands take the stage and rip it up, and then the band following them doesn't try to take it up a notch. They don't try to build off of what another band was nice enough to help them do. They take it as, oh well, that crowd's probably tired. Well, no, like I see it the opposite. That crowd's prime. That crowd's warmed up. So to circle back to your question, man, you name it, Baptistic Murder, Haunted by Day. I drum for Manic as a rapper. Suburban Paranoia from out in the Bay Area. I've got ties with Skin Lab. I've got ties with Immortal from up in Ukiah. I've the boys in Cursed, Hellheart and those guys. You name it, man. Like I'm all about everybody because I'm all about everybody succeeding and doing better. So if I'm not connected with you and you see this podcast, man, feel free to look me up.
Right. Where can we connect to you if you don't mind me asking?
Easiest places to find me, I'm either on Instagram at the Almighty Lunchbox. You can find my band, Nothing But Losers, on all social media platforms. Nothing But Losers on Facebook, Nothing But Losers on Instagram, and Nothing But Loser, that is no S, on Twitter. You can find all my band stuff on Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, Amazon Music, YouTube. And then I do a little show called Talking Shop with the Boss in the Box alongside Brandon Blacker, Suburban Paranoia. And we actually go live Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on Facebook at Talking Shop with the Boss in the Box. Also, same name on YouTube, same name on Instagram. It's shop_talking on Twitter. But, you can find me through any of those platforms. And like I said, feel free to reach out.
When I was actually viewing a couple of your shows, what I really liked was the one with Skin Lab in it. I actually wasn't aware that guy was one of like the originals for like Exodus and Metallica and Megadeth, and it was actually a really refreshing to hear something other than the big four, the big five, someone I haven't heard of, and you guys interviewed, and that was actually pretty cool. You actually mentioned Manic, and I'm actually, if I'm not mistaken, you all are under the tags of Juggalos. What is it like to be labeled that? And have you had connections to Killer J of ICP?
No, the best affiliation I've ever gotten as far as Violent J was to open up for Insane Clown Posse back in 2018. Beyond that, no, I mean, I've been a Juggalo for 22, 23 years. It's, my biggest thing is I was a nerdy white boy in a small farm town. So their music really resonated with me. They weren't the most talented rappers. They weren't the most talented musicians at all, but what they were the best at was promotion. And so I read Violent J's Behind the Paint book as a Bible of promotion, of perseverance, of never quitting and always trying to do things your way. And so I mean, I wear it as a badge of pride. Not every Juggalo, just like not every metalhead, just like not every anything, are the greatest of people or the smartest of people. But for the most part, once again, just like damn near everything else that you label in a music scene or an entertainment scene, they're just hardworking people out there with a message to spread to everybody else.
Take everything with a grain of salt, essentially, what you mean when it comes to everyone's individuality. Like you said, like there could be gangs of juggalos out there, and then he himself says that he has nothing to do with gangs or gang violence. So it all depends on who you talk to, but it's best to get it straight from the horse's mouth in this case.
Well, I mean, everybody's got a bad experience with somebody, straight up. That's just called life. That's called living.
That's
Outside of your extremes, like for the most part, damn near everybody that's under the umbrella of, especially we're talking entertainment labels here. Most of those people are just good, good people who are into what they're into. Nothing more, nothing less.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it. Speaking of entertainment, you're also WWE. I don't want to say a fanatic, but you're into WWE. What is it? What is it like to work with those guys?
I don't work with WWE. I work with an independent professional wrestling promotion called Blacklist Pro Wrestling. I would love to work with WWE. If I ever got that call, I'd shit my pants, I'm sure. But man, wrestlers are a lot like musicians in the fact that they're just people out there who work hard at their craft, define their art, and want to showcase it to the world. They're just like with comedians, bands, musicians of all sorts, actors, directors, wrestlers encompass a lot of all of it. And there are so many good ones that people are unaware of that if you're a fan of the art of pro wrestling, man, get out there and educate yourself, dude. There are so many good federations, UGWA, Best of West Pro Wrestling, CWA, Pro Wrestling Bushido, and of course my home, Blacklist Pro Wrestling out of Fresno.
Isn't there also one here in the Central Valley of Modesto also?
There's two in Modesto, and I named both of them. That's Pro Wrestling Bushido and CWA.
So which one do you believe worked? I believe we asked this the last time, but the last time our feed kicked off at this point. So what would you say was the one that worked for X Fest with Chris Ricky and
that
Bobby Hart?
That was Bushido. Bobby Hart runs Pro Wrestling Bushido. He's the Bushido King of Killers.
That's actually really insane because they actually have, don't they have those at like anime conventions also? I seem to remember they had a ring over here over by the Modesto Center Plaza also.
That was probably Bushido again. Chris Ricky and has always had a tight relationship with Bobby Hart. Bobby Hart used to be one of the managers at the Fat Cat. So I mean, yeah, that was probably Bushido. I know they've done X Fest, Lucky Fest, the Summoning, you name it, all those festivals. That's usually Bushido down there, and they've got some good talent. And what's really cool about independent wrestling is they pull talent from all over the place. You've got talent coming from Blacklist Pro Wrestling, CWA, some of the guys from Hood Slam, some of the guys from SPW up in the Bay Area. Like I said, man, it's wrestling is a very rich part of our entertainment culture here in Northern California. Shit, Southern California, you name it, man. So many good wrestlers, so many good organizations.
Would you say, and this is a question that I'm sure a lot of people come up to you and ask, and I might as well get, what is it doing and martial arts?
I'm sorry, brother. You cut out really hard there. Could you go ahead and repeat that whole question?
What is the connection or the difference between action wrestling and martial arts?
Well, I mean, the way it goes, professional wrestling and martial arts are two different worlds. Martial arts is, of course, training for hand-to-hand combat, both your body, your mind. It's also training for discipline, fitness, things like that. Whereas professional wrestling is very similar in the training your body and your mind for heavy physical activity. But in the end, your goal is to make everything look as rough as it seems without actually hurting your opponent. So that being said, I know a lot of these wrestlers that do train in martial arts, A, to incorporate it into their game, B, to keep themselves in shape, and C, as one of my favorites, Chris Crody, the Super Beast, says all the time, if you shoot games weak, you're weak. Meaning that a lot of these wrestlers, and you can tell the difference between those that are just athletes and those that have a bit of a fighter gene to them. And those that have a bit of that fighter side, they tend to be your more realistic looking wrestlers. They tend to be the ones that really have you questioning that line. So the correlation, man, I recommend if you're into one, be into the other.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. It connects also to isn't there is a connection between UFC and action wrestling? Isn't that true?
Not, I mean, where you get that now is that as far as professional wrestling in the UFC, a lot more of the fighters have started to utilize that promotional game, the shtick, and make it more about entertainment. As far as the lead up to a fight, they sell you on the fight, which is something that some of the greatest boxers of all time, Muhammad Ali, will tell you that Gorgeous George was one of his, or would have told you that Gorgeous George was one of his biggest sources of inspiration. Floyd Money Mayweather will tell you that The Rock, Ric Flair, are all big sources of inspiration to him because those guys knew how to build a fight. They knew how to get you emotionally invested, where you either wanted to see them win or you wanted to see them get their ass handed to them. And that's something that a lot more fighters, most notoriously the notorious Conor McGregor, have really brought into the fight game. Tito Ortiz was another one who kind of originated that. Don't get me wrong. I love a great fight. I'm a big mixed martial arts fan. I love a great fight between two dudes who respect each other. But in the end, man, sell me something. Make somebody mad. Get everybody kind of riled up against each other. And that's what's going to kind of sell it and make the public open their eyes to it.
So you're saying that in a way, it's as much a dance as much as it is a performance for wrestling people around, throwing people around. It's more of a dance.
We're talking about pro wrestling?
Yeah.
The way I like to look at it more so is it's basically stuntmen with one take.
Hey, there you go. That's a better way of putting it than dancing.
You're live out there, man. You don't have an option. You don't have an option to retake. You don't have an option. Oh, let's try that again. No, you got to go. So
that's true.
So, like I said, the putting it as a dance. I used to use that analogy a little more, but like I said, more along the lines now. I look at it as you're doing stunts and you have one shot.
Oh wow. That's a lot to think about. I mean, if you think about it, when it comes to a lot of people seeing it at home, they don't get to like see it that way. They often, they see it the way it happens, and this is actually a really good look on it. Very much. Thank you for taking the time for being my guest. Trying to remember if I don't think there's much else that we need to talk about. Is there anything that you have? Are there any questions that you want to ask the people through the site?
No, not really, man. Like I said, you guys are welcome to look me up, find me on any of my shows, band. Once again, that's Talking Shop with the Boss in the Box, Nothing But Losers, Blacklist Pro Wrestling. Those are all the places you can find me. And once again, if you're looking for entertainment, look no further than the Central Valley's metal scene, punk scene, wrestling scene, man. Get out there and find your local artists, support them, because guess what? Every band, wrestler, or artist you were ever into is a local at heart. That's where they started. And I want you to go out there and help push them to the stratosphere before you're that guy saying, oh, I saw their flyers.
There you go. You want to support wrestling, support music, support the locals. We're real people out here, and all we want to do is make things special for as much people as possible.
Absolutely. Once again, it's an event, and all those events start right in hometown. So get out to your hometown events. The events are starting to happen again. We've all been begging for them. Don't let it be like before, man, when you said you might go to that show. Now, hopefully, after this last year, people realize that those events are precious and they can be taken away from us. They were taken away from us. So now that we've got them back, don't let it happen again.
There you go. Don't lose it. Don't lose that. All right. Well, that is Lunchbox, Dave Ussery of Nothing But Losers, a talking shop with the Boston Box. And thank you very much, man. This show was brought to you by Monster Unleash the Beast. and our promoters and our sponsors over here at Graffiti Dogs. Thanks very much, man, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you
Let's
for
go.
having me.
We make the day.